All right. Well, good evening, folks. I think we're up and running here. It always takes a little bit of time to set this up the way I've got it. Streaming in 4 different places. So, welcome to Monday Night Law with Kirk's Law Corner. What are we at? October 10th, 10/10, 2022. Let's see. Can I actually see? Uh-oh. Not seeing the Facebook. Oh, there it is. Let's see if I can see my... No... So how's everybody doing? You have a good week, or was it horrible like mine? Oh, no. So how's everybody doing? Alright, let's see. There we go. Trying to get this all open so I can see your comments. It's not wanting to... Now. Oh, well. I don't know why Facebook's being weird like that, but it is. Just trying to get to Rumble now. Lots of crazy stuff going on out there, I'm telling you. Arrests are happening. Let's go to... There it is. Why am I getting... There it is. Sound feedback. Okay. One, two, and 3. Okay. Alright, on Telegram, there's your comments for the live. Oh, let's see what's going on here. Audio sounding good out there, everybody? Video's up for Telegram. Should be anyways. I think it should be rocking. Sound is good out there. Perfect on Facebook. And YouTube's good. All right. Okay. I think we're all good here on all 4 social medias. Oh man. You know, I've been trying to educate the people on this, the right of political power. And I asked the question earlier on the Telegram channel, how do we effectively claim and exercise the right of all political power? If all political power is inherent in the people, and we have the right to alter, reform, or abolish anything at any time we deem it necessary, and no special privileges or immunities shall ever be granted that cannot be altered, revoked, or repealed by the legislature. Right? That's the full right. Now, that particular part talks about privileges, special privileges. And this where Hale versus Hinkle comes in, is it's explaining that there's a reserved right in the legislature. So what's the right? The right is political power. To do an investigation to see if that corporation has exceeded the laws of its creation. Investigations, those are done by the legislature, by and through a petition, a political lawsuit. Okay, that's how we exercise the right, following due process of law. We have to petition the legislature for the redress of grievances, because the right dictates that. I'm not sure what the confusion is about the question of how do we effectively claim and exercise that right and that power. The right dictates that we go to the legislature, because that's our Republican form of government, and that right is reserved to the legislature. It is not in the judicial branch. But see, this is all part of the scheme, scam, and fraud of the bar, where we've all been brainwashed and indoctrinated to believe that everything that we do, we got to go to the judicial branch. Judicial branch. No. Not the judicial branch. In fact, the entire judicial branch lacks jurisdiction. The right dictates we go to the legislature, because that's the law. Rights are the law. Not the statutes. Not the code. Not the Roman civil law. No. Rights are the law, the common law. And then we have to comprehend that parliamentary practice comes from the common law. Parliamentary practice is that practice of law in the legislature. You know, we have 3 branches of government. We got the legislative branch, executive branch, and judicial branch. When the right says we go to the legislature, we're talking about the first branch of government, where political power is exercised. You know, it's in the preamble of the Constitution for the United States of America. We the people, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice. That's the court of justice. Okay? Well, they try to make it seem like that they're, oh, well, the judicial branch, yeah, those are courts of justice. No. The general court or court of justice is in the legislature, where we establish what is just. Courts of law are in the judicial branch. They can't be courts of law and courts of justice. There can only be one or the other. But see, that this is also, again, right back to the bar and the brainwashing and indoctrination to believe that we go to the, you know, judicial branch. No. The right dictates we go there. Oh, wait. I can't screen share yet because it'll freak. Okay. So I'm going to move that over there. Now I'll screen share before. Okay. Don't be any of those. Okay, we're going to just look at the Idaho Constitution. I know it's mine. It's my Idaho Constitution, right? But I'm going to continue to hammer this home until you folks can, you know, answer this question with ease, right? Political power inherent in the people. Okay? All political power is inherent in the people. Government is instituted for their equal protection and benefit. That's what the government is instituted for. To defend us and to benefit us. And they have the right to alter, reform, or abolish the same whenever they may deem it necessary. This is that, and no special privileges or immunity shall be granted that may not be altered, revoked, or repealed by the legislature. Now, if we're going to claim this right, this power, and exercise that power, we have to know how it works. Because the right dictates this. Right? We would go to the legislature. This is what this right to petition the legislature for the redress of grievances is all about. It's how we exercise that political power. It's done through the legislative branch, the Court of Justice. See how the right dictates and to petition the legislature for the redress of grievances, because the right of assembly has to do with calling them in to assemble, peaceably assemble, so that we can consult for our common good and we get to instruct our representatives. That's just the law. Okay, so again, I didn't write this stuff, but that's what it reads or says as it is written. That we go to the legislature. I mean, I can't get any more clear than what it says as it is written. This is why it's so important to read what our rights are. You know, a lot of people think, oh, well, right to freedom of speech and, oh, due process of law. Yeah, great. There's a lot more to those rights. The Fourth Amendment right, Fifth Amendment, Sixth Amendment, blah, 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 blah. We have the right to a Republican form of government. We have the right to claim and exercise this power. But if we're going to exercise this power, we got to know how it works. Right? This is where we get into learning about rules of procedure. Part of them, rules of the common law the Seventh Amendment talks about. Now, I've showed this before. Here's our Idaho House Rules of Procedure. These are just like the judicial branch has rules of procedure, right? We look at what rules. We got criminal rules. Okay, this is for the judicial branch. These are rules of procedure. There's your criminal rules. Civil rules of procedure. See, it's procedure. It's all about this procedure. These steps, due process of law. the process or the remedy. Okay, remedy is process. Relief is what you get to demand. Hey, Johnny. In the legislature. That's where you'd file these petitions because that's what it says. In the legislature. There's only 3 branches of government. You're one of the ones that's driving me nuts. Now back to Hale versus Hinkle. There is a reserved right in the legislature to investigate its contracts and find out whether it has exceeded its powers. Right? To act as a corporation are only preserved to it so long as it obeys the laws of its creation. We go to the legislature to revoke their business license. That business steps outside the scope and authority of the laws of its creation. That's grounds to revoke their business license. It's a privilege to do business in our communities. Okay? And I know some people will argue with me that I'm a communist or whatever. No. It is a privilege to do business in our communities. Now, if you want to remain in the private, literally in the private, then don't open your doors up for business. Right? This is how we protect one another. Is having that business license, especially for those that are acting in foreign or interstate commerce. And that's so that we can shut your business down if you're not acting within the law. And I'm talking about rights as the law. Or not following the regulations regulating foreign and interstate commerce. Revoke your business license. License means it's a permission. That's a privilege. Now, you don't have to seek permission to contract your labor as you see fit. So that's the difference, is contracting your labor is totally different than acting in foreign and interstate commerce, where you're buying goods or shipping goods from a foreign company, foreign corporation, foreign country, nation, state, and then you're turning around and selling those products. That's not your own creation. You're making a profit off of somebody else's labor. Okay, so that's not the same as a man in the private contracting his labor. That's totally different. You know, a woodsmith who, takes a raw chunk of wood and turns it into a table or a chair, whatever. That's his own labor. And the product comes from nature, a tree. So there's no foreign or interstate commerce there. They're not buying any goods and turn around trying to sell it to somebody else. That's their own actual labor. That's true private. So, again, this right, when we're claiming and exercising this right of political power, it's done through the legislature. Doesn't matter what it is. Okay? Doesn't matter what it is. This is the remedy where you go to seek relief, is from the legislature. Because that's just how our Republican form of government works. As it is written. Right? So we have this power. It's inherent in us, the people. But How do we claim and exercise this power, this right? You got to read the rules of procedure. Look at that right there. Petitions. Rule number 12, House rule. Petitions, memorials, and other papers addressed to the House shall be presented by the Speaker. Now, there is a rule of procedure that's saying that it has to be done by the Speaker. False. Miranda versus Arizona. There shall be no rulemaking or legislation that would abrogate the right. We have the right to present our own petitions. This is them taking away our power by rulemaking and saying, oh, well, no, only the Speaker presents petitions. No, that's not true. You're the servant, we're the masters. The right dictates that we get to instruct you. You don't instruct us. We instruct you, servant. And at no time does a servant dictate to the master what his rights and powers are. That's way outside their scope and authority. But I'll be darned, there it is in rules of procedure. Now here's your standing committees in the House. Depending on what subject matter or jurisdiction you may be going in under, you go directly to the committee with your petition. And let's see. Look at that. Contest of election procedures. I'll be darned, that is in the legislature. That's right. The legislature has subject matter jurisdiction over elections, not the judicial branch. There again, another one of those times where we've all been brainwashed and indoctrinated to believe that we go to the judicial branch for everything. We really need to learn how this right works. Who has the power? We do. If we're going to exercise, claim and exercise this power, we got to follow the rules of procedure. We got to follow the law. The right dictates the legislature. Okay? Oh my gosh, you do motions? Yeah. Motions come from the common law. Motion practice. So here's one of my favorite ones right here. Rule 60, the House rules for Idaho. Order of business. After calling the House to order, the order of business for the day shall be as follows. Roll call, prayer, approval of the journal, consideration of messages from the governor and the Senate. We get down here to what is this? The fourth order of business for the day is presentation of petitions and communications. Again, this dictates the process. These are the rules of proceedings or procedure. Down here, 74. Pardon me. Rule 75. Standard rules. The rules of parliamentary practice set forth in Mason's Manual of Legislative Procedures shall govern the House in all cases to which they are applicable and in which they are not inconsistent with the standard rules and orders of the House and the joint rules and orders of the Senate and House of Representatives. Yeah, so long as they're not inconsistent. Okay? So not every state uses Mason's manual legislative procedure. About 70% of them do. So you're going to want to go read your rules of procedure. It's in every single one of them. It'll tell you, oh, well, we use Jefferson's or we use Mason's. Those are the two most common manuals for group decision making. But Mason's is specific to the legislature. Okay? Same thing with Jefferson's. Now, Roberts and Reed's, those are just for group decision making. So that, like a corporation. Gee, funny how that works. But that's how this works, right? There's these rules of procedure behind everything. I'm looking at some of the comments here. So, yeah, again, this right dictates that we go to the legislature for our grievances. We got an issue with something going on out there, governmental wise, or anything that has a business license, especially those entities, agencies, associations, whatever, that receive any kind of taxpayer dollars. Public money. Bam. To the legislature. Do an investigation to see if they've exceeded the laws of its creation. Now, here's how the judicial branch is used in this particular situation. Say, the legislature made a statute that says they could do certain things that's outside the scope of the legislative power to begin with. That's a constitutionality challenge to the statute in the judicial branch. So how that would work, technically speaking, is you file the petition in the legislature, then you go over, right? Then you go over to the judicial branch from the legislature. And so that way the legislature knows that you've gone over to the judicial to challenge the constitutionality of this certain statute that you're now challenging to abolish in the legislative branch. And then the judicial branch goes right straight to the Supreme Court. Constitutionality challenge to the statute. Then, bam, goes right back to the legislature to be abolished. That's the process. Those are the steps to abolish. It's supposed to work. They're supposed to work together, right? It's kind of takes more than one to do it. Now, of course, the other way is we can straight up put it to a vote to abolish something. Say, put it on the next ballot. We want to abolish the bar. Wonder how many people would vote to abolish the bar. I think too many people would be scared because, well, who would I hire to represent me in court? That's the problem. You're supposed to know the law. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. This whole concept and ideology that we have to go to the some other man who supposedly went to school for 2 years, bar school. They call, went to law school. It's not law. It's code. They're most definitely not teaching them law in 2 years. Well, but what would we do? What would we ever do without the bar? Read and study the law for ourselves. Learn how to effectively defend yourself. Because that's the thing, right? Ignorance of the law is no excuse. Whose responsibility is it for our education and our knowledge? You think it's somebody other than yourself, ourselves? You're fooling yourself. We can't say that it's somebody else's responsibility to teach us. You know, the only reason why they continue to get away with this crap is because nobody's reading, nobody's studying, nobody's learning this stuff on their own, because they're not going to teach us in school. They're not even going to teach you in law school. They don't teach you how this power is exercised in the legislature, how to alter, reform, or abolish anything at any time we deem it necessary. They're not going to tell you that. They're going to have to teach you that stuff because they don't want us to have that power. The bar wants to be in control and be out there leading people to believe that, well, yeah, the legislature makes the law. No, they make policy at best, and only under subject matter jurisdiction. You know, this is the concept that's missed by so many, especially those public servants. I just cannot get through to them. They will not. I don't know what the hell. I'm really just at a loss for years now. How they cannot grasp. Nobody seems to grasp this concept about subject matter jurisdiction. What? Where is it? Promotion of temperance and morality. Oh, yeah, up here. Unity of subject and title. Every act shall embrace but one subject and matters, see, subject matter jurisdiction, properly connected therewith, which subject shall be expressed in the title of the act. But if any subject shall be embraced in an act which shall not be expressed in the title, such act shall be void, only as to so much thereof as shall not be embraced in the title. So this would be part of those exercising the power to declare that particular part of whatever of that act that's not lack of subject matter jurisdiction. We go to the judicial branch and declare that unconstitutional. It's actually unlawful. Okay? So when we're talking about subject matter jurisdiction and the power to make legislation regarding a particular subject, I got one more here. Technical terms to be avoided. Every act or joint resolution shall be plainly worded, avoiding as far as practicable the use of technical terms. Okay, it should be done in plain English so that the average man can read it and comprehend it. So when they start doing fancy words in there. No, technically speaking, those are technical terms, and they are to be avoided. So that's unconstitutional. It's unlawful. Here's one more. The first concern of all good government is the virtue and sobriety of the people and the purity of the home. The legislature should further all wise and well-directed efforts for the promotion of temperance and morality. We're supposed to have a moral society based on God's law, because that's the law of the nation, law of nature, our ideology. So back to subject matter jurisdiction. We're looking at the legislative branch here, right? Qualifications, privileged sessions in the legislature, origin, manner passing bills, local and special laws prohibited, gambling, signature bills, when acts take effect, compensation. Where's the subject matter jurisdiction? Well, what's the powers of each house? Each house, when assembled, shall choose its own officers, judge of the election, qualification, returns of its own members, determine its own rules of proceeding, and sit upon its own adjournments. But neither house shall, without the concurrence of the other, adjourn for more than 3 days, nor to any other place than that which is it may be sitting. So where's the subject matter jurisdiction? What subjects do they have? Oh, here's one. Here's subject matter jurisdiction over intoxicating liquors. So great. They have subject matter jurisdiction over intoxicating liquors. But what does it say? From and after the 31st day of December, the legislature of the state of Idaho shall have full power and authority to permit, control, and regulate or prohibit the manufacture, sale, keeping for sale, and transportation for sale of intoxicating liquors for beverages purposes. That is a delegation of subject matter jurisdiction. So now we're grasping the concept. Now, here's one that might be a little controversial right now. Marriage. A marriage between a man and a woman is the only domestic legal union that shall be valid or recognized in this state. Well, considering marriage is a religious act, the legislature doesn't have any subject matter jurisdiction, and it's not legal union. It's a sacred vow between a man and a woman unto God till death do them part. Yeah, legislature doesn't have subject matter jurisdiction. Again, marriage is a religious act. That's the free exercise of religion, because that's where marriage comes from, the Bible. Where was that? Local? Yeah, here we go. Local and special laws prohibited. The legislature shall not pass local or special laws in any of the following enumerated cases. That is to say, regulating the jurisdiction and duties of justice of the peace and constables. Oh, wait a minute. What? So the legislature can't pass local or special laws regulating justices of the peace and constables? How about for the punishment of crimes and misdemeanors? That's right, because there's not supposed to be any bills of attainder. Regulating the practice of the courts of justice. They're not supposed to be doing that. Providing for a change of venue in civil or criminal actions. Whoops. Oh, what's this? Granting divorces. They're not supposed to be making any local or special laws in any of the following enumerated cases. This would be legislating for us in all cases whatsoever. Declaration of Independence. Declared act of tyranny for legislating for us in all cases whatsoever. Uh-oh. They're not supposed to be making legislation for granting divorces. Because again, it's a religious act of marriage. Not owned by the state. Summoning or paneling grand and trial juries and providing for their compensation. Uh-oh, you're not supposed to be altering that law. Regulating county and township business or the election of county and township officers for the assessment collection of tax. Oh my gosh. Providing for and conducting elections or designating the place of voting. They're not supposed to be making any local or special laws. Affecting estates, extending the time for the collection of taxes, giving effect to invalid deeds, right? There's all sorts of cases that they're not supposed to be legislating on. Ah, here's a great one. Changing the law of descent or succession. Succession of law, rights as the law. Yeah, you're not supposed to be messing with that. For limitation of civil or criminal actions, creating any corporation. So there's not supposed to be any local or special laws like, I don't know, the Idaho Bar Association. Not supposed to be making special laws. Those would be foreign emoluments. They're foreign to our form of government and repugnant to our law. Creating, increasing, or decreasing fines, percentages, or allowances of public officials during the term for which said officers are elected or appropriated. So those are some limitations, right? But as we can see, there's really not a whole lot of subject matter jurisdiction here. I mean, I guess when we get into the main part of the Constitution, this is where you start seeing. But I didn't see anything about the legislature having the power to make legislation regarding any of our rights. I don't see that. Now, some of you may have heard me talk about this before. In order to qualify to be one of the people as an elector, to one of the people, you're supposed to own land. But now they're saying here, no property qualifications shall ever be required for any person to vote or hold office except in school elections or elections creating indebtedness or in irrigation district elections, as to which last named elections the legislature may restrict the voters to landowners. Well, when you're talking about irrigation, yeah, you kind of have to own the land to be have the standing to vote. Because if you don't own the land in that irrigation district, then you don't have a say in it. None of your business. Doesn't have anything to do with you. Lack of personal jurisdiction. But interesting how they talk about here that no property qualification will ever be required. That's fundamentally altering our form of government. That makes it so that we know that you're an American. That's the qualifications that's supposed to be required. Because the reason why that's required is so that when we go to the legislature or suits at common law and we sue them for the damages, whether it's criminal in nature or civil in nature, because this is suits between man and man, not suits between the government or the people against a corporation. So this is suits between man and man. In history, we required them to own land to qualify. So that when we did sue them, that we could seize their land. And that's how we basically shunned them and got them out of our society, is we took their land. But see, they want to be able to do whatever they want to do and never, have any kind of burdens or anything. Is that right? Yeah, okay. What did I just do? Well, I did something over here on Telegram. I don't know if that messed anything up over there, but okay, on Telegram. Okay. Why are you, Johnny Law, why are you bringing up 14th Amendment? I wasn't talking about 14th Amendment. And then you read what you're talking about there. Every defense in law. Common law is at law. Yeah. Give me just a second. Need agua. Okay. Thank you on Telegram there. Let me know I didn't mess it up. On mine, it shows it like split. It's not one full screen, so everything term you tell us to do are expressions in judicial definition. Common law does not use these terms. I have no idea what you're talking about. So, back to, again, our rights and the fact that the legislature does not have subject matter jurisdiction over any of our rights. And I want to go back to this one right here, because this is where we talk about courts of justice shall be open to every person, and a speedy remedy afforded for every injury of person, property, or character. And right and justice shall be administered without sale, denial, delay, or prejudice. Okay. Courts of justice. Why is that in the rights? Declaration of Rights, Article 1. So, again, this is why we have to comprehend our form of government and where to go. Because, see, when we look at judicial branch, let's look at that real quick. Even though it says that they've abolished our common law, right? The distinctions between actions at law and suits in equity, that's Article 3, Section 2. They're trying to combine at law and in law. And the forms of all such actions and suits are hereby prohibited. You can't alter the fundamental law. And there shall be in this state but one form of action for the enforcement or protection of private rights or the redress of private wrongs, which shall be denominated a civil action. False. Because if we have a redress of grievances, we would go to the legislature. Or, if we look at this differently, they're saying that suits at common law are civil actions, and every action prosecuted by the people of the state as a party. You gotta be one of the people to prosecute a public servant against a person, public servant, charged with a public offense. For the punishment of the same shall be termed a criminal action. So there's a clear distinction even here. The difference between violations of rights and public offenses, private and public. So, suits at common law. See, this would come in conflict with Article the 7th of the Bill of Rights. So, this would invoke Article 6, Clause 2, the judges in every state shall be bound thereby. Anything in the Constitution or laws of the state to the contrary notwithstanding, this is void for any effect. because it comes in conflict with Article the 7th of the Bill of Rights. But as we can see, there's a private side and a public side. And again, this is where they subverted, fundamentally altering our form of government. They abolished our common law courts. And these are all courts of the United States, the corporation, the Inc. Judicial power. Where vested? The judicial power of the state, not all of the state, shall be vested in a court for the trial of impeachments, a Supreme Court, district courts, and such other courts inferior to the Supreme Court as established by the legislature. So basically you got the Supreme Court and the district courts of the state. Why doesn't it talk about courts of justice? Why not the common law court? Huh. But notice that it's talking about trial of impeachments. Why is that under the judicial power? We do impeachments in the judicial branch? Huh. The courts shall constitute a unified and integrated judicial system for administration and supervision by the Supreme Court. No. The legislature is the one that creates. Therefore, the legislature is the one that provides oversight. The jurisdiction of such inferior courts shall be as prescribed by the legislature. So if we got a grievance, something going on in the judicial branch, we go to the legislature and we tell on them. We demand an investigation to see if they've exceeded the laws of its creation. Because the legislature is the one that created it. Therefore, they're the ones that are providing oversight of it. Till provided by law, no changes shall be made in the jurisdiction or in the manner of the selection of judges of existing inferior courts. But see, here we go back to, what's the powers of the legislature? Where is it? I thought it was under the powers of each house. Weird. Impeachments. Huh. Unless it's right here, legislative power. The legislative power of the state shall be vested in the Senate and House of Representatives. The enacting clause of every bill shall be as follows. B, this is a quotation, so this has to be just like this. Be it enacted by the legislature of the state of Idaho. The people reserve to themselves the power to approve or reject at the polls any act or measure passed by the legislature. This power is known as the referendum. And legal voters may, under such conditions and in such manner as may be provided by acts of the legislature, demand a referendum vote on any act or measure passed by the legislature and cause the same to be submitted to a vote of the people for their approval or rejection. The people reserve to themselves the power to propose laws and enact the same at the polls independent of the legislature. Another one of those all political power. This power is known as the initiative. And legal voters may, under such conditions, and in such manner as may be provided by acts of the legislature, initiate any desired legislation and cause the same to be submitted to the vote of the people at a general election for their approval or rejection. And talk about the impeachment. I swear it was right here, under powers of each house, but it's not. See, like here we go. Here's your term limits. The senators and representatives shall be elected for the term of 2 years, from and after the first day of December next following the general election. So, every 2 years, their term comes up. There's your term limit. I know it's not the same as what people think. We should limit the amount of times they can be elected. No, you don't know what you're asking for there. Because what happens if you get a good one in there? Now, what we need to do is start, what? Expulsion of members. Each house may, for good cause shown, with the concurrence of 2/3 of all the members, expel a member. Gee, I don't know. Would you petition the legislature to remove a member of the legislative branch and get a vote of 2/3 of all the members to expel a member? Uh-oh. And actually, no. Expulsion is just for the day, for that particular meeting or whatever. That is so weird. I swore that it was in here because the sole power of impeachment is in the House. I don't know. Maybe they threw it in under the Judicial, which is weird because, okay, yeah, that they did. See, and that's why is this under the Judicial Department? The court for the trial of impeachment shall be the Senate. Why is this under the judicial branch if this is happening in the legislature? A majority of the members elected shall be necessary to a quorum, and the judgment shall not extend beyond removal from and disqualification to hold office in this state, but the party shall be liable to indictment and punishment according to law. And that's to try them. The House of Representatives solely shall have the power of impeachment. No person shall be convicted without the concurrence of 2/3 of the senators elected. When the governor is impeached, the Chief Justice shall preside. It's the only thing I can think of is because when we're impeaching the governor, then the Chief Justice is supposed to come over and sit down at the Capitol in the General Assembly and preside. Otherwise, I'm not sure. Maybe it is I guess it would be a judge for impeachments. Just for the governor, it's the Chief Justice, the top justice of the Supreme Court. So, but here you go. It's saying that impeachment, the sole power, which is exactly what's in the Constitution of the United States of America, this is our Republican form of government, right? The House of Representatives has the sole power of impeachment. Then the Senate has the sole power to try all impeachments. It has to go through that process before the impeachment is finalized. I see many people out there talking about, oh, Trump was impeached twice. No, he was not. When it went to go to the Senate for the trials, they flopped. They didn't get the vote. So therefore, the impeachment failed. Got to follow the full process. Just because the House says, yep, here's our indictment for impeachment, they have to send that over to the Senate for trial. That's, separation of powers here. So there's your impeachment, right? Power of legislature respecting courts. The legislature shall have no power to deprive the judicial department of any power or jurisdiction which rightly pertains to it as a coordinate department of the government. But the legislature shall provide a proper system of appeals and regulate by law, when necessary, the methods of proceeding in the exercise of their powers of all the courts below the Supreme Court, so far as the same may be done without conflict with this Constitution, provided, however, that the legislature can provide mandatory minimum sentences for any crimes, and any sentence imposed shall not be less than the mandatory minimum sentence so provided. Any mandatory minimum sentence so imposed shall not be reduced. There again, this is void for any effect because that's promising an award, which falls under bills of attainder and bills of pains and penalties. So this is what I'm saying about this Constitution. It's this Idaho Constitution is a fraud, right? Because this, I don't know how many people are aware of this, but for Idaho, we didn't get going until 1863 with the Organic Act for the Territory of Idaho. The first legislative session was 1864. Technically speaking, we didn't have a constitution until 1889, and then supposedly ratified by the people in 1890. Yeah, that's after the Reconstruction Acts. This is a corporate constitution, which is a fraud. This is government de facto, which is why a lot of the verbiage that's in here is the way that it is. I mean, I have found all sorts of stuff within our Idaho Constitution that's contrary to the supreme law of the land and even our rights. Plain and simple. No, this can't be. This is not lawful. Then again, now here's one of the good ones that I actually called this one out. I'm like, you're supposed to report this. Defects in law to be reported by judges. The judges of the district court shall, on or before the first day of July in each year, report in writing to the justices of the Supreme Court such defects or omissions in the laws as their knowledge and experience may suggest, and the justices of the Supreme Court shall, on or before the first day of December of each year, report in writing to the governor, to be by him transmitted to the legislature, together with his message, such defects and omissions in the Constitution and laws as they may find to exist. So there again, the judicial branch is supposed to be providing oversight of the legislature, right? And this is every year. I mean, like annually, they're supposed to be reporting all this stuff, saying, hey, and what are they doing? They're telling the governor, the executive, to execute the law. To go back to the legislature and say, hey, we're going to have to get rid of this because the judicial branch says that's unlawful. It's unconstitutional. So, that's the thing is that, It's supposed to be a pretty well-oiled machine taking care of itself, but the problem is all of the power is inherent in the people, not the judges. We have to claim and exercise that power. Trust me. Or believe me, these people don't want to abolish this stuff. It's up to us to do this. Okay, what the heck? I'm getting all sorts of... I spelled it wrong. Okay. Yeah, just remember, folks, this is why. This is why, right? I'm trying to teach the people about our power. They're the servants, we're the masters. Okay? And they don't want us to know this. Of course they don't want us to know this. They don't want us to learn about our rights, especially the right of political power, the right to alter, reform, or abolish anything at any time we deem it necessary. We have that power. They don't want us to know, let alone know how to exercise that power. Because the second we all figure that out, we can whip our government into shape, because we could even abolish the whole damn thing. That's what that right's really about, is that this is part of being self-governed. We get to make the Constitution. We get to dictate the powers that are delegated. Oh. Okay. Let me go back over here. So yeah, this is the key to everything, folks. You know, this is the golden key to the gate. We really need to be learning this stuff. I mean, you know, if we don't learn this stuff, we're just sitting here spinning our wheels, right? There's lots of people out there that talk about, well, I did this over here. Great. That affected you. You did something for yourself. Yay. I'm talking about something much bigger. Something that affects everybody on a whole. Now, here's the thing. Once you get into a situation where you end up in a judicial branch court case, now you have standing to claim a right to a cause of action, to go to the legislature for the redress of grievances. Because it's all fraud. That's what part of what standing is all about, is having the right to a cause of action. If you haven't been affected by whatever it is, you don't have the standing to claim a right to a cause of action. Yeah, over here on Facebook, yes. Marie Lopez, I know this is the thing. We, the people, need to get on a local level. Quit worrying about the federal election. Quit worrying about the WHO. Quit worrying about the CDC. That's way outside of our scope. I mean, we can't even, some people can't even effectively defend themselves in these de facto kangaroo courts to begin with. But they'll talk real big about going after the WHO or, all this other stuff, and it's like, really? You don't even know this stuff here. Right? You haven't even read your state constitution. You have no idea how our form of government's supposed to work. And you want to talk big like you're going to do something. Come on. Okay, here's a comment. They did not adhere to common law. If it was so, then in 2013 there was a common law court held in Indiana where they called out Congress. Whoops, where'd it go? Dang it. I was just right in the middle of reading that. How do I get to these? This is the problem. Will not. Just wants to play the video. It won't take me to the comments like it used to. Unless... Come on. Doggone it. What a pain in the butt. Okay. Yeah, now they're all... Okay. Here's the one I was talking. Okay. They did not adhere to common law. If that was so, then in 2013, there was a common law court held in Indiana where they called out Congress, etc., for human trafficking, etc., etc. That's on the books in St. Joseph's County fee schedule, record number, da-da-da-da-da. But that's not how that works. Common law courts are suits between man and man. Again, that's suits at common law. Okay, and if you're going to go after members of Congress for being involved in human trafficking, we got to follow the law. The law dictates where we go for this. Article 3, Section 2. These would be what? The judicial power shall extend to all cases in law. Suits in law. And where we're supposed to report these crimes is in the executive branch. Because the executive branch is the prosecuting branch. And that's where prosecuting attorneys sit, is in the executive branch. not the judicial branch. So that's probably why nothing happened, because common law courts are for suits at common law, suits between man and man. So I don't know how many people are aware of the educational series out there on my YouTube channel. Those of you on YouTube, you might already know that, but I'm actually going to try and get those up on the Rumble channel as well. So people that don't even use YouTube can still go and get them, because the way I have the restrictions set. To help fend off trolls, and as well as YouTube itself. When I set it for not made for kids and requiring you to have a legitimate account, it helps a lot. It also helps with keeping the bots away. So just so people know that that's the reason why I have YouTube set up that way. Uh-oh. Here we go again. Why does it do that? Yeah, it skipped some frames here. Gave me a notice. I hate when it does that. Come on. Give me my mouse. Well, that is what I can do there. Now it wants to come up like that. No. Suits in law. All right. Let's take a look at this again. Article 3, Section 2. The judicial powers shall extend to all cases in law and equity arising under this Constitution. UCC is not under this Constitution. Congress didn't make the UCC. Laws of the United States and the treaties made which shall be made under their authority. To all cases affecting ambassadors, other public ministers, and consuls. To all cases of admiralty and maritime jurisdiction. That would be the jurisdiction of the judicial branch for suits in law and controversy to which the United States shall be a party, to controversy between two or more states, between citizens of different states, between citizens of the same state claiming lands under grants of different states, and between a state and citizens. Lands that's the suits in equity that Article 3, Section 2 is delegating the power over, is an equitable interest in the land. Okay. Yeah, see, I try to stick to kind of real law stuff, like Uniform Commercial Code. Code is not law. Rights are the law. And this is law of the land. And in fact, this one is the supreme law of the land, supposedly. But last Monday, I covered a little bit about that 1776 commission, right? We're going back to 1776, folks. And because we're going back to 1776, we really need to learn about this political power and how to wield this power. Because we're going to have to learn how to administer our government. It's up to us, right? We're supposed to be self-governed here. So we have to learn how to maintain our republic. Okay, so why? Yeah, never mind. I know why. Okay, so for those of you that are not aware, 4 different broadcasting platforms right now until either Facebook or YouTube takes it down, but Rumble and Telegram are the 2 main ones. I kind of looked at BitChute. I haven't had a chance to go through it and see about testing it and setting it up or any of that. So, but for now, Rumble, Facebook, YouTube, and Telegram, which I'm gonna, why won't it let me copy that? Jeez. You gotta be freaking kidding me. I want to copy just that. I know. We'll go in here. We'll go do like that. There we go. Okay. So I just posted that on YouTube. I get over here to Facebook. Now here's the thing is I went ahead and changed the Telegram name, and in doing so it changes the, well, I actually went in and changed it, so when you do a search you'll get there to Kirk's Law Corner. So to remove some of that confusion, even though part of my license's DBA is KLC Media Group News, or KLC Media Group. That's why I created the channel as KLC Media Group News. So where else would I put that? Well, that's already in Facebook, YouTube. How do I get to... I'm going to put those down in the comment section on Rumble. So yeah, as those of you that have tried to use an old link to my Telegram, and it's no longer that one because I changed the name, so to try and make it easier. So now we'll have to start resharing the proper link to the Telegram channel. Now here again, I want to try and talk about this again. Do not join the group. It's a private group. It's just to store the comments. Nobody needs to join that. You join the channel, and then you make your comments under each post regarding the subject matter of the post. If you were to join the private group for where the comments are stored, nobody will ever see your comments. There's nobody else in there but me. It's supposed to be just a blind, dummy group to store the comments. That's all it's supposed to be for. I mean, I suppose people could join it, but then why have a channel? It just that doesn't make any logical sense. Why have a channel and a group if we just let everybody join the group? So and so I would like to reiterate again about the educational series, right? On my YouTube channel, I'll work on getting them up on Rumble. 8 episodes, educational series. Watch those in a chronological order. Episode 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't try to skip around. They're done in a chronological order of things, of knowledge, a progression of knowledge, of what needs to be learned first. Then you get into the other stuff, parts of law. So, then I've actually uploaded 2 other videos there on the laws of nature. Straight from Law of Nations. I'm seeing your comments out there, Mark. Now, boy, do I have goodies. Oops, not that one. Looky what I got. Where is it? Our documents? No. Our history. Yes. Hey, Mark. This is all 7 volumes. Pretty much every single document in history for all the states in America. Come on. So these are entitled The Federal and State Constitutions, Colonial Charters, and Other Organic Laws of the States, Territories, and Colonies now or heretofore forming the United States of America. And this was done by Francis Newton Thorpe in June 30th of 1906. Ooh. Oh well, we'll skip. So, this will have your whole history for Washington. Well, it has for everything, right? Now, it's funny how when they list the United States, oh, well, the Declaration of Independence, Articles of Confederation, Constitution of the United States, and amendments to the Constitution. You forgot the Lee's Resolution, you forgot the Virginia Declaration of Rights, and you forgot the Virginia Constitution of June 29, 1776. That goes in conjunction with the Declaration of Independence, which I've showed that in episode 1. Because we have to comprehend that the territory of Virginia was quite large. Going back to the first charter of Virginia, see how many all these other states were born out of Virginia. It's kind of one of those things where, like, first in line, first in time, or first in time, first in line, something like that. So again, that's what I covered in episode 1, kind of a brief history, overview of the history. And I just recently got these. Took a little bit of digging to find them, but I found them. I mean, yeah, look, right here. South Dakota, what Virginia Charter 1609. Why does South Dakota have anything to do with the Virginia Charter of 1609? Because Virginia was first. So for Virginia, grant to Sir Walter Raleigh in 1584 the first charter of Virginia in 1606. The second one, 1609. The third one was 1611. Ordinances for Virginia, 1621. Declaration of Rights by Virginia, 1776. I like how they minimize that. But look, Constitution of Virginia, 1776. Now, Washington, which, by the way, Idaho was born out of Washington. Convention with Great Britain in 1818. Convention with Russia in 1824. Territorial Government of Oregon. That's right. 1848. Then the Territorial Government of Washington, 1853. Enabling Act for Washington, 1889. Now that's weird because where's the enabling act for 1883 for Idaho? If we're part of Washington, how did Idaho... I'd say they missed something. Let's see. Proclamation of Admission of Washington, 1889. Constitution of Washington, 1889. Huh. Weird. So that's in this book. The original Constitution of 1889. And all your hysterical documents. So just so people are aware, I have all this. Pretty much according to them, the history of America. On everything. I mean, there's little dissertations in here about each one of them, but this is the start right here. Alabama, American, Arkansas. And once you get into the beginning stuff, then it goes into the start. Breaks it down. I wonder what it says for Idaho. Just curious. Idaho's not in here. Wow. Wow. I guess Idaho's just not worthy of being in there. I wonder what else we got here. Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi. Well, anyway, you can get the gist of what's going on here. What's all within these books. This is all just list of authorities. Come on. Yeah, there's all sorts of neat stuff they have in here. This part here. Commissions, Charters, and Plans of the Union, 1492 to 1754. So, yeah, I bet you do, Mark. Yeah, I have to figure out how to get these over to you guys. It's got a lot of good stuff in here, and no, I have not read all 7 volumes yet. But I have read a lot of stuff that's off of Avalon. I've read a lot of the organic laws. I've read a lot of the constitutions, the history, bills of rights, and all sorts of different declarations and other writings. So I have quite a bit of knowledge, background. Of course, those that have been following me long enough already know this. Yeah, whatever. All right. So the other thing I want to put out there is my Patreon. And I want to thank those that are new that have joined the Patreon recently. And like I mentioned last week, that I was still trying to get things done outside before the weather severely changes and starts raining. And I'm getting close. But there's a couple of you that I will try and get to this week for some one-on-ones. Diesel D's, of course, you're first on the list there. So I'll be making some appointments and time this week. So make sure you check your messages on Patreon. And again, for those that would like to help donate or support, go through the Patreon, because they've taken my Cash App and my PayPal down, and I really don't have any way of taking any kind of donations other than through the snail mail, kind of like what we used to do, which was cash wrapped in aluminum foil, or cashier's checks, a postal money order, or even regular money orders. It don't matter. There's a couple of you that used to send the cash wrapped in aluminum foil. So, and that's over to the office. Just send that over to the office. Anything you'd like to send there. I mean, I've gotten T-shirts and thank you letters and all sorts of good stuff. So, yes, there was, there was an Enabling Act for Idaho. It's the Organic Act for the Territory of Idaho, 1863. I have it. And in fact, it's in here. It's in that book. So, what do I do? Here we go. Well, technically speaking, I'm not screen sharing, am I? I just moved it over. So, Mark, if you want to send me an email, let's try to make some contact. I can't remember if you'd sent me one or not before, but Kirk@kirkslawcorner.com. So yeah, back to the Patreon. Everything is pretty much Kirk's Law Corner. So if you look on Patreon for me, let me see if I can. Yeah, perfect. So here's my Patreon channel page, whatever it is they call it there. Facebook, YouTube, here you go. And that's to help if you want to do donations or whatever. And then on that's tier 1 and tier 2, $5-10 a month, whatever you want. The tier 3 is where you get into the Wednesday night workshops, where I do private group. Everybody that's in tier 3 is invited to the Wednesday night workshop where we get into some nitty-gritty stuff and stuff that I just don't talk about live and out here in Facebook, YouTube, la la land. Because somebody will get their feelings hurt. And then the tier 4 is for the one-on-one, 1 hour per month. Unless we discuss something different there. Most. So, again, want to thank all those that have recently subscribed over there in support. I don't do a whole lot of posting over there, so this is why you want to get in the Telegram. I do a lot of stuff through Telegram. Pretty much don't really do too much on Facebook or YouTube anymore. Now I have to go over here. We'll put this on there. On the Telegram, in the chat for the live, I put the Patreon in there. Okay. Now the other thing that I'd like to discuss real quick is the fact that we have We the People 2, number 2, .us on Telegram. That's actually a website. And then we have broke down through the We the People 2.us Telegram stuff. We have broke down into individual states. So Michelle, you're hanging out there somewhere, right? Maybe dump that out there, which I see that you did. Let me see. Can I? Probably won't. Does not like me copying from. Okay, well, I can just copy a link. Okay, I'm going to put that here on Facebook and YouTube. That's the We the People 2.us. That's the website. Right? Yep, that's the website. Now there's also a new social media platform that was built by the man behind the scenes over there. I'm trying to remember his handle. The Phantom Opera or something. No, the Phantom. Anyways, props to him for doing what he's doing. Okay. Yeah, setting up a new platform to play around on, social media platform. I have not had a chance to get on there and sign up and get all that done yet, so been pretty busy. So, with that, everything out there like that, suppose I could put out, let me see. Let's see, to 64, 77. Oh, you sucker. I hit the shift enter. Was supposed to. Okay, there we go. Of course. All right. So there is the office address if you guys would like to send stuff over to the office. The full address. I just got that on YouTube. Now I'll put that over here on, well, Facebook. It's already on the page itself, but I'll just go ahead and put it in there. Now, okay, is that the... Copy. Okay. Now here comes the link for We the People Telegram, I believe. This should be the Telegram channel on YouTube. And now Facebook. Okay. Yep, that's the Telegram. Okay. So there's the We the People 2 on Telegram. Both YouTube and Facebook. Just put it in the comments section. So... all right. So I hope everybody enjoys their week, and happy Columbus Day. Yeah. For those of us that know a little bit of history on that. And I'm not real big on celebrating holidays anyway, so I don't know if you guys have noticed that over the years. I'm not real big about Christmas or Thanksgiving or any of that stuff. It's just another day to me. So yeah. So anyways, hopefully you got that information there to get connected with us on Telegram. You know, again, because there's so much limitations on Facebook. Telegram, I mean, I am on Getter, but I don't do a whole lot on Getter. I am on Truth Social, don't do a whole lot on there. Telegram is where it's at. At least that's where I'm at, where a lot of other people are at. A lot of information is being shared through Telegram. Even whatever's posted on Truth Social and Getter, it all comes over onto Telegram. So to me, out of everything that's out there, Telegram is the hot one to be on. So uh-oh. Michelle, that link is, they're saying that link has been expired. No? Nope. Link is not expired. I clicked on it and went right to it. Oh, I don't know. Okay. Just trying to do one little final check here. Mark, did you get my email, Kirk kirkslawcorner.com. That's pretty simple. Send me an email, would you? I think you did before, but I'm so lost on my emails, it's not even funny. You bet, brother. I also wanted to give out the thanks and thanks for the prayers and all that you guys do out there for me and everybody else here. I'll tell you, it's been pretty grueling over the last couple years, but man, I sure appreciate your prayers and prayers of safety and protection and from when I've been sick. So anyways, thank you for all of that, and thank you for being here and supporting what we're trying to do here and trying to learn. Again, you know, this is the key. We have to learn how to wield this power. There's no other way around it. This is it. At the root of all of it, all political power is inherent in the people. We have the right to alter, reform, or abolish anything at any time we deem it necessary. That's the power that we need to learn how to claim and exercise. Because that's what's going to fix our republic. That's what's going to fix things on a local level. That's what's going to fix our Republican out-of-form government. Okay? So at the root of everything, of the rights that we need to learn, is the right of political power. But let's come together over there on Telegram. Get in there on that We the People 2.us in the Telegram. Get connected there. Get into your different state groups. We have a couple different things going on. I don't want to talk about it live here. Again, one of those weird off topics that will definitely get flagged for. So we have been doing on occasion a live through Telegram dealing with those particular things. So we've put the leaders, right, some of the admins for the state groups, and we're having private meetings that way.